Hey, welcome to my Apres-Ski follow-along stretch session. If you're not a skier, this can work for just about any winter sport activity. So, of course, snowboarding, snowshoeing, or winter hiking, even just kind of like snow shoveling stuff around the home. There's going to be a focus on the lower body and back muscles. Uh, so, things to have available to you. You may want like a pillow or this little foam cushion. When we're doing kneeling exercises, it can feel good to have something under your knee. Uh, you will need to have a wall or maybe a couch, a flat surface that we're going to use for one of the stretches, and then possibly a chair, bench, or box for doing one of the stretches. So if you want to gather any of those supplies or kind of move about your space, you can pause here and do that. Um, each stretch I'm going to hold for about 30 seconds per side or 60 seconds total. If anything feels like it needs a little more TLC, needs a little bit of more attention, you can pause and hold that stretch for up to 1 or 2 minutes. This is kind of more static stretching that we're doing after an activity, so it's fine to kind of hang out in those stretches a little bit longer. For any stretch, you want to tune into tension within your body. Uh, Even if it's not in the muscle that we are intending to stretch, sometimes you'll be stretching, maybe your quads are tight or your hip flexors feel tight, and you'll notice that you're tensing up the shoulders or the neck muscles or your jaw, maybe scrunching up the muscles in your face. So, relaxing those muscles is going to help tell your body, like, this is okay. We're doing this on purpose and release tension in the muscles that we're stretching. And similarly, tuning in with your breath, taking nice, full 360 kind of breaths, trying to fill up our diaphragm here. So think about inhaling into your sides and your back and your belly, just nice, deep breaths, kind of signal to our body again, this is safe. Let's release some tension here. Uh, so for now, let's get started. Okay, so our first stretch is going to be the elevated pigeon. This is a stretch for the glute and the outer muscles of the hip. You're going to place one leg up on that bench, chair, box, whatever you're working with, shin kind of perpendicular here to my body. And you're going to adjust the intensity of this stretch by how low you go. So I might take it down onto my forearms. If I find I need a deeper stretch, I can back off, placing my hand palms on that surface, or I could kind of bend my elbows if I need a little in between. So I'll hang out here for about 30 seconds. Focus on that breathing. Big inhale, full exhale. A few more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. You can come out of it on that side. Go ahead and switch legs, supporting the other knee and ankle. And come on down into your stretch. You might find that one side feels a little tighter than the other, or notice a little less flexibility in it. That's fine. Work within your range of motion, what your body is telling you. Should feel a gentle stretch, but we never want to push past any points of pain. That is a signal from our body that telling us, don't go quite that far. You've got 3, 2, 1, and come out of that pose. Oh, I lost my cushion here. All right, from here we're going to come into a hip flexor stretch. You might want your pillow for this. We're going to do a half kneeling stretch. I'll show it from the side and then show it from the front. You're going to find a position where your knees are about 90 degrees each. Staying nice and tall. Think about a little bit of Elvis pelvis here. So I want to kind of tuck under. And then I'm going to shift forward, and you'll feel that stretch in the hip flexor on the side that is down. Notice when I go to shift forward, that knee is traveling right in line with my toe. And you can squeeze the glute on the back leg if you need to. You can keep holding that stretch. I'll show it from the front as well. So staying tall, shift forward, hold. If you need a little extra stretch, you can raise the arm on that same side, and you could add a little bit of a side stretch as well if you feel you need to deepen that stretch or if that accesses a different point of your hip flexor. Got 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and switch sides. Finding that 90 degree position, tucking those hips kind of under the pelvis, or tucking that pelvis, excuse me, squeezing that glute in the back leg, and gentle shift forward. Again, if you feel you need a deeper stretch, you can raise that arm, reaching tall, and little side stretch if you need it. You're halfway through on this side. 3, 2, 1. Come on out of that stretch. All right, we're going to do a little mobility movement. It's a little combination hamstring, squat mobility, and a little stretch for the low back. I'll show it from the side and the front. You're going to find a nice low squat, whatever that looks like for you. So you'll see sometimes folks have their fingers underneath their toes. Maybe your hands are on your shins, whatever a low squat looks like for you. And you're going to straighten those legs, let everything hang, and kind of rock between a squat and a little hamstring stretch here. May also feel like a nice stretch kind of right here in the low back. So if that feels good to you, can kind of hang there a little longer and rock back and forth. We'll go for about 8 to 10 reps of this. And again, if that kind of hang position is feeling good to you, you can always pause and spend a little bit more time there if you need to. Making sure you're fully releasing any tension during that stretch. And one more rep. And come on out of that. All right. All right. Next up, we have our couch stretch. This is a stretch for the quad and the hip flexor. Both of these muscles can be pretty tight after a day of skiing, after a day of winter hiking, just after a day, to be honest. So for your couch stretch, again, you might want that cushion to place under your knee. And the distance from your couch or wall is going to determine the intensity of this stretch. Often at the beginning, you may be a little further away from it. That's completely fine. So I'll get set up and then I'll kind of count you in for the stretch. You're going to place that cushion or pillow on the ground. You're going to find a position where that front leg feels like it's about 90 degrees, nice and stable. Back of the foot is kind of flat, resting against the wall. I don't want to have my toes flexed where I can kind of push against it. Again, the further you scooch that knee back, the deeper this stretch is going to be. So work with what feels good for your body. Once you are set up, you're going to place one hand on top of that leg, bring the other up, and you're trying to find a position where you can stay tall through your torso. So if you go to do this and you find you're here, you might want to scooch that knee out a little bit, um, so that you can find a place where this quad and that hip flexor are lengthened. This can be a pretty intense stretch, and it can be one where we need a little bit more time to fully relax that muscle. So if you do feel like that's the case, feel free to pause it. It can get a little spicy. Maybe checking in with those muscles in your neck, your face, your jaw. Got 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and switch sides. Oh, stepping that other foot forward. Back of my foot is flush against the wall. Scooch it a little closer. If you felt you need a deeper stretch, maybe that pillow comes closer to the wall or knee comes closer to the wall. All right. When you feel you're set up, go ahead and press up into that stretch, finding length in the torso. Staying nice and tall. Pull that string from the ceiling. Got about 10 more seconds here. If you do feel like this is an area that needs extra attention, feel free to pause. 3, 2, 1. Come on down. The rest of our stretches are going to be ground based. Um, so if you need to find a mat or the floor somewhere comfortable, feel free to do that. We're going to start out with just some rotations for our hips, some 90-90 switches. So you are going to find a place where both of your knees are about 90 degrees. It does not have to be perfect. I'm going to encourage you to use your hands to support you with this. You'll see a lot of demo videos where folks have their hands out front and they're switching side to side, but often people tend to kind of scooch forward when they do that. And when we do that, we're usually kind of bending a little bit. You're not able to stay as upright. So we're kind of cheating the mobility on the hips. So we want to keep that motion in your hips, keep your torso nice and upright. So don't be afraid to use your hands to kind of support you nice and tall. So from this position, you're going to kind of windshield wiper your legs side to side, just playing with internal and external rotation of the hips. If this does not feel comfortable or accessible to you from the ground, you can grab a yoga block, or maybe like a couch cushion. You can sit on that. So elevating your hips will allow you to get that rotation side to side with a little bit less range of motion. Go 2 more each side. Last one. All right, you can find a cross-legged seat. You can do a little stretch for the back. I'm going to take one hand and reach underneath me. Back of my palm is kind of pressing into my leg. Other arm is going to reach to the side, chesting open to the front of the room. So kind of actively pushing with this hand on your thigh, actively reaching with the other arm. There's not a huge difference. If it feels better for you to be palm down with that hand on your thigh, that's completely fine. You're breathing into this side, into your low back. For 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. So I'm going to actively press into my thigh with the bottom hand and reach with the top. Keeping your chest open to the front of the room or open to me if you are facing me. So I don't want to twist to the side here. I want chest open towards the front of the room. We're actively pressing, reaching. 3, 2, 1, release. Come onto all fours. So wrists straight under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. From here, I want you to take one hand and kind of cross it over, reaching over the other hand. Big breath in, and as you exhale, sit the hips back, and you should feel a big stretch in your back on the side with the arm that's in front. Release any extra tension in your neck. So if you're noticing that you're looking up at that hand, let it go. The hand does not need to be watched. And you're breathing into those muscles in your upper to mid back. That is your lat, one of your big mover muscles on the back side of your body. And hold for 3, 2, 1. Back to that all fours position. Switch sides. Other hand crosses over and reaches. Big inhale and exhale. Sit the hips back just until you feel that big stretch down your back. Again, relaxing the neck, letting the head hang. Letting your jaw go slack. For 3, 2, 1. Rock back to that starting position. I'm going to show the next one a couple ways, but it has the same kind of starts, very similar motion, but it's going to be for our adductor, our inner thigh muscle. So from that all fours position, you're going to kind of flag one foot out to the side. Big inhale, and then you'll rock back just until you feel a nice stretch in that inner thigh muscle. Might not take much. It can be pretty tight. If you find it's more comfortable to have like a rolled up towel or blanket or roll up your yoga mat underneath your elbow so you can really hang here, that's completely fine. So hold that stretch. If you ever find you need to back out of it for a second and rock back in, that is completely fine. You've got 3, 2, 1. Come back to that starting position. Demo it from the front as well on my other side. So I'm coming from all fours. And I flag that leg out to the side. And I'm going to rock back. So for that leg out to the side, I like my toe to be pointed forward, so not kind of opened up. That's going to change the stretch a little bit if I rotate my hip. However, you don't have to press this foot flat on the ground if it doesn't go there. If that pinky toe lifts, that's okay. If you've already been hanging out in that stretch for a while, I apologize because I've lost track of my time. Go here 10 more seconds on this side. Big inhale. 3, 2, 1. Rock out of it. And we'll finish up our stretch with child's pose. So staying in that all fours position. Knees can come a little wide if that feels good to you. Big toes touch. Nice full breath and exhale. Sit the hips back. Let your forehead rest. It could rest on the ground. It could rest on your pillow or your kind of make a pillow out of your own hands. And just hang out there as long as you like. Feel free to hold that a little longer, but that's the end of our stretch session today. So, high five to you for actually stretching after your day out.